I was sent on a first contact expedition with an alien race that had no concept of parts. Yeah, I know. What does that even mean? You'll get my point soon. It wasn't first contact per se, as we have been communicating with them for many months now. However, this was the first time we would actually meet face to face. I was brought on board to lead the expedition due to my engineering background. They called themselves the Galoni, and we agreed to meet above a young primitive world that was relatively close to one of our research outposts and one of their exploration fleets. They came from a planet relatively similar to ours, and their basic biology wasn't as alien as other species we have encountered. However, their aspect was really something else. They had an elongated torso, 2 legs and 4 arms, 2 of which were the main ones, while the 2 longer were also used as legs when they needed to run. They also towered over us, standing at roughly 6 meters, or 19 feet tall. Their technology is quite more advanced than ours, so imagine the collective sigh of relief when we realize they are as friendly and curious as can be. We have been exchanging information for a while now, and our linguists managed to decipher one of their languages. Luckily for us, they also talk with their mouths in sentences. That made communication with the Galoni much easier than we had with other civilizations. The most fascinating aspect about them is they have no concept of parts at all. Everything to them is a whole. Here is an example. We humans call a phone a phone. We know it's composed of chips, a screen, a digital antenna, and so on. We just call that thing a phone. To us, it's one object. We don't necessarily think of it as the sum of its parts. For the Galoni, this was an extremely alien concept. Everything, and I mean truly everything to them, was a whole. Sure, they understood what parts of an object means on a conceptual level, in the same way we understand in the phone example. But they never used this in their development. Everything they have ever built has been the result of theorizing the finalized piece. Here is another example to make it easier for humans to understand. On Earth, the Industrial Revolution happened slowly, and then all at once. We slowly realized that we can use the pressure generated by burning coal as a fuel source to get stuff to move. More so, we discovered very early forms of steam engines even hundreds of years prior, but they fizzled out of relevance quickly. We then proceeded to make bigger and better versions of it, and use them in factories, ships, and eventually vehicles. For the Galoni, when the next technological step seems within reach, they don't experiment with it by tinkering around. They never created a rudimentary form of steam engine. Instead, they started building the first steam-powered ship right completely off the bat once they theorized what a steam engine is. Everything in their engineering is connected and built to be a single object from the start. No repairing, no replacing. Even their ship that they gave us a tour in is built in the same way. There is no such thing as the main pilot deck separated from the research lab. The entire thing is made to work in complete and utter harmony. It's hard to explain in words, but hey, we met an alien civilization with a different origin than ours. What did you expect? Of course, our technology is also intended to work the same way. You don't care what your phone does inside and how it works, you use it for other stuff. However, if the screen breaks, you repair it. They would throw it away completely. It's funny when you do it for a small device, but they did the same with entire industrial complexes. Unless an object is completely in harmony with all of its pieces and has several contingency spare parts already built in, it won't be used. This means several things. First, their technology is extremely efficient and does not break down. Second, their technological progress is slower than ours, but when it happens, they take a massive leap all at once. We humans moved from inventing manned flight to landing a man on the moon in 60 years. Neil Armstrong's father was born almost 1 year after Orville Wright first flew 120 feet in 12 seconds. Similarly, we invented the transistor in 1947, and by the late 1990s we were already entering the age of information. The Galoni, on the other hand, experienced a technological era equivalent to our late 19th century for almost 400 years. The first prototype flight machines they built were used for 350 years before they just leapfrogged to rockets capable of landing on other planets in their solar system. When they invented the first computing machines, they did not get to the adoption we humans saw in the 2000s and 2010s until almost 600 years later. This also functions for their language. On Earth, we have words for things and actions that we put together to form sentences that express what we want to communicate. All languages are different. Some have declinations, others don't. Some have the future tense while others have several ways of expressing something in the past. But the principle is the same, whether it's English, Chinese, Romanian, Swahili, Norwegian, or Arabic. The Goloni essentially have a word for every sentence they want to say. While it seems impossible to us how you can have a language with seemingly an infinite amount of words, they are capable of communicating in complex sentences that they appear to make up on the spot. Their society is organized similarly. While they are individualistic like humans, they seem to have no grudge towards one another when expressing different opinions. They see politics and public administration as a means to an end and nothing more. The most efficient and harmonious choice wins. We have researchers with PhDs in philosophy discussing these matters with them to understand more. The same concept goes for how they do warfare. They have much fewer instances of war in their history, however their wars were all absolute. Harmony and unity must exist in all, it is simply how their nature is. Many Goloni nations have disappeared because of this approach. Remember when I said we were relieved to see they are friendly due to how advanced their technology is? That's only from our side. They are quite scared of us. It is unfathomable to them how quickly we evolve. But they are scared of something else more than just the speed of our development. To them, we mindlessly tinker around, building imperfect devices and machines that break down very often and are scared we will have accidents once we invent or discover more advanced technology. They have been quite generous in sharing their technology with us, but we can definitely tell they are keeping some of the more advanced stuff away from us. However, we are making a lot of progress, and we are both learning a lot from one another. Talks are had to create ambassadorial colonies on each other's planet so we can further develop this relationship.